Welcome back to the I Don't Want a Divorce podcast. Today's topic, codependent lie number 8, as we move through these lies in 20 lies that keep you with your abuser. And number 8 is this: because it will hurt more to leave. It'll hurt to leave, but it won't hurt as much as staying. The fact is, it's going to hurt you. But let me explain further in this video why it'll hurt you a lot more, and your kids if you stay. If you're in a marital crisis, no matter what your crisis is, I have a specific, biblical, practical plan of action for you. Go to my website, davideclarkphd.com, that's Clark with an E, to see all my resources. You can access this podcast, my YouTube channel, my Focus on the Family video interviews, my books, my new TikTok videos, and my phone advice service. Now, I talk to spouses in marital crisis every day, well, Monday through Thursday here at the office. In fact, right here at this desk, phone advice service. So if you're in a crisis, you will get a clear plan of action. I can confirm you have an emotional abuser on your hands or a narcissist. And if you've destroyed your marriage, I've got a plan for you. If your spouse wants out for bogus reasons, I got a plan. I don't care what the situation is. We can talk about it, and I'll give you a clear plan of action. Now, today's topic from the 20 Lies book, codependent lie number 8, because it will hurt more to leave. Here's the voice of the abused. It's awful living with him, but it will be worse if I leave him. It will be bad, but it won't be worse. That's my comment. She continues, he will make me pay dearly if I separate. Yes, he will. You're right. All right, but you still have to do it. She says, I dread the legal process if I file for divorce. Yeah, I don't blame you. It should be dreaded. It is awful, but you will get through. Then she says, everyone will turn on me and I won't receive any support from my friends and my church. No, that's not true. Now, many will turn on you and side with your abuser. That's true. You're a narcissist, but not everyone. Then she says, if it gets legal, he'll go after custody of my children. One of the greatest fears. Oh no, he'll get custody of my kids. Oh yeah, he'll go after them because he's an evil dirtball, but he's not going to be able to win that battle. Most states now, it's 50-50. All right. That's the worst it's going to be, even though he'll try to scare you with getting full custody of the kids. That ain't going to happen. The fear. This is underneath the lie. I'll be blamed by my family, my friends, my pastor, my fellow church members, and my neighbors for the separation and maybe the divorce. You are convinced everyone will turn against you if you leave your abuser. Now, many will. I'm not going to lie. Many will, but not everyone. All you need is God and a few die-hard supporters. You think about your life, and all of us. Sandy and I have often thought about this, my dear wife, the blonde. When it comes to crunch time, there's only there's a small circle of family and friends who we could actually count on. Most people, You're also convinced your abuser will gain full custody of your children in a divorce settlement, and he'll threaten that, and he'll make you believe he'll do it. That's not true. Unless you're psychotic or a serial killer, that is highly unlikely to happen. He'll do his best to scare you that you will lose your kids. You know how you'll lose your kids? If you stay with them. I've seen that happen over and over again. I talk to ladies every day in phone advice sessions who stayed too long, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, and now their kids have turned against them. Maybe they're adults now. They've turned against them. They've lost them. Why? Because they stayed too long. You are convinced your children will be severely damaged in a separation or a divorce. The truth is they are being severely damaged right now because you are living with your abuser. That's far more damage to them than if you leave. What does the Bible say? Numbers 13 and 14, Old Testament. The Israelites, out of fear and lack of trust in God, rebelled and refused to enter the land God had promised them, the land of Canaan. They wanted to go back to Egypt, back to slavery, back to Egypt, and live in slavery rather than fight their enemies and live in freedom. Well, what's the matter with them? It's because they were scared. The price they paid was 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. It's brutally hard getting out, but it's worth it. You can wander for 40 years. You can say 40 years with your abuser. I talk to ladies who do, and there's frankly not much left of them. Don't do that. Proverbs 14:7, Proverbs 18:2, Proverbs 23:9 say this: anyone who recommends you stay with your abuser is a fool. These verses in Proverbs talk about fools, and fools are out there, and there can be Christian fools too. Anyone who blames you for leaving your abuser is a fool. In addition to leaving your abuser, you need to leave these fools behind. Get away from them. Stop listening to them. Let them ruin somebody else's life. And then 1 Samuel 25, a powerful statement. In the Old Testament, God rescued Abigail. Abigail didn't live in 21st century America where women have legal rights. In that time and place, women had no rights. I mean, zero rights. They were totally dependent on their husband. Abigail had every right to believe things would be far worse for her if, in fact, she defied her husband Nabal and left him. But she did it anyway, trusting God to protect her. And he was the one guiding her every step of the way. Powerful story. If Abigail can make it, so can you. Okay, here's the experience of DC. That's me. It will hurt to leave, no question. It's incredibly difficult and painful to leave an abuser. They will make you pay. It will take time and great effort. And when you leave, your abuser will do all he can to make your life a living hell. Now, he's already done that living with him and being married to him. Now it's worse because they hate to lose and he won't be made to look bad. He'll do his best to destroy you. But he's doing that right now. All right, you're going to have to get part of your healing and getting ready to leave is getting strong enough to deal with what he's going to shovel your way when you leave. I want you to believe it hurts far more to stay with an abuser than to leave one. If you stay, you are slowly destroyed. Your children are slowly destroyed. Your children are turned against you by your abuser. And frankly, your abuser is also being slowly destroyed, although I don't really care about him. When you leave, your abuser will do all he can to punish you. He has to win at all costs. If you go through a divorce process, he'll hire a sleazeball attorney and attempt to manipulate the legal system, and in many cases be successful, at least to a degree. He'll try to get custody of your children. He'll threaten that and do what he can. He won't be successful. It's not because he loves the kids, but because he wants to humiliate you and break you and maintain control of the kids. Most of the time, now not all, you'll get a 50-50 split because most states now in the United States, it's 50-50 in terms of custody after a divorce. But most of these narcissists will not end up, they want the 50, but they're not going to end up using the 50 because they're selfish. They'll find a new victim. She'll have a kid or two. He'll move on and he won't see the kids as much. And that's a good thing. Listen to this very closely. The only thing worse than leaving your abuser, which frankly is awful, is staying with your abuser. Then there's a guaranteed, never-ending traumatic series of events. And frankly, his abusive behavior after you leave will confirm you did the right thing. A normal, decent man whose wife leaves him will break and repent quickly and do whatever it takes to win her back, not your guy. You and I both know your abuser is not a normal, decent man. He is abnormal. He's evil, period. And sick. I tell you again that many will blame you when you leave. They will. He'll win the PR battle in many cases because he lies so beautifully. In many churches, you get blamed whether you stay or whether you leave. If you stay, okay, the abuse is always still your fault. You're not loving him enough. These Christian fools don't care if you're being destroyed by your abuser. They'll say, and I've heard these things, it's a shame she got cancer and died. Speaking of the woman who's being abused. Oh, it's too bad she got so depressed she couldn't function, couldn't take care of her kids. Oh, what a pity her own kids turned against her. And these fools will go on with their lives because they don't care about you. Ignore them. You don't care what they think about you. If you leave, they'll tell you, these same fools, that you had no biblical right to leave. They'll say you didn't give your husband enough time to change. I guess 10, 15, 20, 25 years wasn't enough time. It's never enough time for these people. They'll say with a straight face that you leaving is a far worse sin than whatever mistakes your husband made. They don't know what they're talking about. You live 1 week with my abuser. We'll see how you like it. Ignore these people. You are Abigail and you're getting out. You will develop your own new supportive Christian community. You'll find persons who believe in you and who will stand up for you. Listen to this. In my 35 years of working with abused spouses, every client who decided to leave has been better off. Universal, everyone. Much better off. Every client who decided to stay, and it's a free country, many decide to stay, has been worse off. Much worse off. And they'll come in and they'll talk to me in a phone advice session and say, Dave, I should have left. I'm paying a horrible price. And when we do what we can to help them, because it's never too late to heal and win your kids back. But don't take that long. You're like a person in a burning home who thinks, you know what, my home is burning up, but it'll hurt more to leave the home than to stay. Really? You're burning to death. You're going to get burned and singed leaving the home. Yes, you will, to get out the door or the window, but you're going to get out, because if you stay, you're destroyed and burned up. Okay, here's some actions I want you to do. Get stronger and healthier physically. See your family doc and get a physical. Ask him for an exercise and diet program. Not so you can look so fabulous, even though you will, but you need strength and energy to get away from this dirtball. Use a regular exercise program. If you can afford it, get a personal trainer. If you can't, any form of exercise will do. Walking, jogging, exercise bike, swimming, biking, hiking, whatever. All that's free. Eat a healthy diet. Less red meat. Cut down on sodas. More vegetables. Lose weight if you need to. Take vitamins. I mean, don't go to the nth degree organic-wise. Those folks look sick. But again, be balanced in your diet. That's biblical anyway. Again, you take these physical health steps for you, certainly not your abuser. Who cares what he says? Find an abused wife who left her abuser and talk to her. Identify a local pastor, it may not be yours, who understands abuse and supports women who want to get out. He will know women who got out. A women's shelter will also know women you can talk to. This can be a powerful dynamic, talking to someone who's been there and has gotten out. Now, if you like someone like me who calls fools fools, who calls abusers evil, and who is helping abused spouses escape, then subscribe to my podcast and leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. And more straight biblical talk coming up next week. And check out my new TikTok videos. You can subscribe there too. We've had a huge response. Praise God for that. We're having more impact, reaching a lot of new people with the message of the Bible concerning abuse and marital crisis.